Hello, everyone. This is your host, Cora Dive, bringing you another foray into mythology. Today, we will be exploring the hero twins in the land of the dead. So, bring up any materials you need and let's get to it. So, our cast of characters for the hero twins is Hanapu and Zabal Zabalanik. Oh my goodness. Zabalanik, the heroic twins. Grandmother, who are the twins' guardian. A woman who happens to be the mother of the twins. Grandsons 1 and 2, who are older bullies. One death and 7 death, lords of the dead. A mouse, a small rodent. Mosquito, who is a pesky insect, and rabbit, a swift mammal. Now that we have our basics, let's go. Outside the hut, the wind was wailing as if all the souls of the dead had escaped their graves. Inside the hut, grandmother poked the fire irritably while her 2 young grandsons huddled nearby. Grandmother, what is all this noise? Do you think it's Lords of Death? It's just a storm, nothing more. But you said sometimes the Lords of Death become angry with us above ground people. Only when we make too much noise. So if you want to stay safe, shut your mouths. Just then, there was a knock at the hut's door. It's them. They're here. Oh, quiet, both of you. Taking up a stick of firewood, grandmother opened the door. Lightning revealed a hooded figure standing there. A woman, gray skinned, with exposed teeth and sunken eyes. No! Grandmother swung the door shut with all her might, but the woman stopped the door in mid swing with just the pressure of her finger. Go back below the earth. Dead have no business among the living. The stranger spoke with a calm and steady voice. I do come from the land below, but if you let me in, I will tell you what you have long desired to know, the fate of your son. In shock, the grandmother released the door, and the strange woman stepped into the hut. What do you know about my son? The woman did not answer, but instead made a little whistle. 2 owls swooped through the doorway, and in their talons they each carried a swaddled infant. The owls laid the babies by the fire and perched in the rafters. My name is Exquick, and as you've guessed, I've come from Zibalba, the land of the dead. At the mention of the land of the dead, the grandsons shimmied up the roof beams of the hut, which only brought them face to face with the glowing eyes of the owls perched there. Ah! The boys fell out of the rafters and hid in a corner. Continue. Our world is different than your world. The sun never shines, and the wind never blows. On the edge of my village, there was a strange tree that grew green melons. My father said the tree was forbidden and cursed, but I visited it one day all the same. As I admired the melons, I saw something strange hanging between them, the head of a man. Ah, probably one of our people that your people had sacrificed. It was. Its body had been killed, but the head still had life in it. It spoke to me and told me its name. As I reached upward into the tree, it spit on my hand. The head told me that I would bear its children, twin boys. I still don't see what this has to do with me. It was the head of your son. I do not know what led him into the world of the dead, but these are the twin sons I bore him, Hunapu and Zabalanik. When my people found me with child, the lords of the dead sent their death owls to murder me. But instead they took pity on me and helped me journey here. Now I beg of you, raise my children as your own. Grandmother stared down at the twin babies by the fire. I'll take them, not for you, but for my dead son. You must leave. I will, and thank you. The woman neared her sons and caressed them gently. Then she gathered her cloak about her and disappeared back into the night, her owls flying out behind her. Nothing good is going to come of this. Grandmother turned to her older grandsons. As soon as it's done, take these demons into the forest and do whatever you have to get rid of them. When morning broke, the grandsons obeyed grandmother, carrying the infants into the forest, but soon after, they returned with the babies still in their arms. They're still alive? We tried to get rid of them, grandmother. We put them in a hill of fire ants. We were sure the ants would sting them to death, but the ants stung, and the babies only giggled. I'll sting you. Get back into the forest and finish the job. Grandmother chased the boys back into the forest, but they later returned, still with the infants in tow. Before you whip us, grandmother, we tried. We really did. We threw them into a thorn patch. We were sure the thorns would shred their tender skin, but they just reached up and ripped the thorn bushes out of the ground and used them for rattles. They must have the power of the land of the dead in them. If we can't kill them, we'll just have to let them fend for themselves. And this is what they did. They left the twin boys alone in the forest. But the heart of heaven, the spirit of the skies, smiled down upon the boys and sent wild animals to care for them, nourishing them on nuts and berries. Now, grandmother tried to forget all about the twins, but years later, she heard a knock at her door. She opened it to reveal two grinning boys. One held a blowgun, the other carried a fistful of dead birds. Grandmother, we're back. See, we can hunt on our own food. And can we come back and live with you? Very well. But life with grandmother was not peaceful. The other grandsons were jealous of the twins and were always bullying them and treating them roughly. Oh, you stupid runts! We were better hunters than you will ever be. Maybe we just need you to show us how to do it. Yeah, we could really use your help. The other grandsons did not notice as they led the twins into the forest. Zabalink and Honapu gave each other a knowing look. Look! See these birds high in the trees? We can't reach them. Can you show us how to get them? Sure enough, high in the trees, there were birds sitting strangely still. Oh, you dumb babies! Those birds aren't too high. All you gotta do is climb up and knock them down. We'll show you. Stay here. Don't wet your diaper while we're gone. The older grandsons shimmied up the tree toward the birds. But when they reached the treetops, they saw they weren't living at all. They were dead birds that had been tied onto the branches. Hey, what's going on here? The twins were smiling up at them, and they reached out and touched the trunk of the tree. Suddenly, the tree began to grow, carrying the other grandsons higher and higher into the sky. Hey, stop it! What are you doing, you freaks? But the twins were not done. As the grandsons rose higher into the air, their features began to change, growing furry and small. They had been transformed into monkeys, the first two ever created. Hmm, nice touch. Really suits them. Thank you. When the twins returned without the other grandsons, Grandmother was furious. What have you done to my real grandsons? I like them. The twins did not lie. They told their grandmother how they had used their powers to transform them. Well, bring them back at once. I don't find this funny. Oh, sure thing. The twins called for the other grandsons, who came swinging through the trees. Grandmother had never seen monkeys before, and when she beheld the strange creatures, she couldn't help laughing. Look at those awful faces! Grandmother, how good you! Broken-hearted over her laughter, the monkey grandsons swung away, never to return. Well, look what you made me do. Now I lost the only grandchildren I ever loved. Although they did look hilarious. Now, with the older grandsons gone for good, Grandmother gave the twins mountains of work. Work that she hoped would keep them out of her way. Go and clear the forest. Cut down every tree. When you're done with that, maybe I'll love you. Hanapu and Sabalanik went to work at once, or at least their tools did. Using their powers, they enchanted their hoes and axes to fly through the air, hacking down trees and tilling the ground. This is tough work. Soon the entire forest was gone, and a tilled field stood in its place. I can't wait to tell Grandmother! But the next morning, when Grandmother grudgingly came to view their work, the forest had grown back. Ha! I knew it! But it was all cleared. Nice try, boys. Back to work tomorrow. The twins cleared the entire forest again, but the next morning, it had mysteriously returned. Something fishy's going on here. So they cleared the forest once more, but this time the twins set up at night to watch. When darkness had fallen, all the animals crept out and used their own magic to replant the forest. Gotcha! The twins sprang out of hiding and the animals bolted. Hunapu and Zabalanik grabbed the bobcat and the rabbit by their tails. But the tails came off in their hands, and they escaped tailless. Then Zabalanik caught a mouse as it fled, and his grip sheared all the long hair off its bushy tail, but it could not escape. Please, please don't kill me! We were just trying to keep you from destroying our home! I never thought of that, but we're still angry. Keep talking. You see, your father was a twin, just like you. He and his brother had a very special skill. They were good at playing ball. What is ball? That's a secret. It's a sport that everyone knows about, but you. It's called puck to puck. Your father and your uncle played it all the time. But the noise of it offended the lords of the dead. They invited your father and uncle to come and play ball against them in the underworld, but they tricked them and murdered them. So your grandmother hid the ball equipment and she never told you about what happened. Well, no wonder she's grouchy all the time. She also didn't tell you your mother was from the land of the dead. Where do you think you got those amazing powers? I just thought we were special. Show us where Grandmother has hidden the ball equipment. Yeah, we want to play. All right, just let me go. The mouse led the twins back to their hut. Fortunately, Grandmother was away drawing water. I saw her hiding up here. I was a house mouse at the time. He climbed into the rafters where Grandmother had tied up the ball equipment. He nibbled through the ropes that held it, and the equipment came crashing down to the floor. Hanapu and Zabalanik picked up a rubber ball and began to bounce it back and forth on their hips. They found a wooden hoop and hung it on the wall. Now, hit the ball through the hoop without using your hands or feet. The twins did so with ease. See, you're naturals, just like your father. Just then the hut door flew open. Grandmother dropped her container of water. No, no, no. Well, time for me to scurry off. But, Grandmother, this is wonderful. Not again. The Lords of Death killed your father. I won't have the same thing happen to you. What do you care? You don't love us, do you? Well, at first, no, but after you turned my other grandsons into, well, those hilarious animals, you're all I've got. If you play that sport, the Lords of the Dead will be angered. They're going to challenge you to a death match. Ooh. They will accept their challenge. We'll beat them. Lords of the Death have kept earth dwellers in fear for years. They demand human sacrifices from our people. If we humiliate them, no one would fear them any longer. Well, perhaps. But you can't beat them. Why not? Our mother is from Xibalba. Who told you that? A little friend of ours. That loudmouthed rodent. Fine. But when you end up dead, don't come blaming me. So, Hanapu and Zabalanik began to play the sport of pok-to-pok, and no one had ever played it like them. The sound of their game shook the very earth. Below, in Xibalba, the Death Lords heard their thunderous skill. What is that I hear? Is that pok-to-pok? Can't be. Oh, those miserable humans are at it again. How many of them do we have to kill before they stay quiet? We will have to teach them a lesson again. Send the owls. It was not long before a pair of red-eyed owls arrived at Grandmother's hut, bearing a message for the twins. Challenge already? Remember what I told you boys about the Lords of Death and their tricks, boys. We will, Grandmother. Grandmother hugged them quickly and bade them a gruff goodbye. The owls led the twins deep into the forest, where a smoking crater opened into the ground. Well, down we go. As the twins journeyed below the earth, the light of the sun faded, but another sickly green light filled the air. Although they were underground, there were ghostly trees, barren plains, and dark mountains in the distance. Xibalba is bigger than I thought. How will we find the Lords of Death? Ouch! Hunapu looked down. A mosquito rested upon his arms, casually removing its nose from his skin. Sss, before you swat me, know this. The heart of heaven has sent me to guide you. Then why'd you bite me? Hey, a bug's gotta eat. Follow me. So guided by the mosquito, they passed deeper into the earth, through all 9 levels of Xibalba. They crossed a river of flowing blood, a river of oozing pus, and a river of live scorpions. Lovely place. At last they entered the gate of a shadowy city where a menacing line of forms were seated on many thrones. Look, the Lords of Death! No, it's a trick. The mosquito went forward and sank its nose into one of the figures. Ouch! See? Solid stone. They're fakes. Dummies. Well, there's no need for name calling. The Lords of Death were trying to trick you into addressing these fake statues to dishonor you. It's their idea of a practical joke. Huh, hilarious. I'll tell you more of their secrets before I buzz off for good. So the mosquito departed, and the twins passed further into the city. Soon they came into the presence of the real Lords of Death, with their gray skin stretched tightly over their skeletal faces. All 12 were seated upon their thrones and chuckling to themselves. Welcome, foolish mortals. Did you have a nice conversation with our decoys? How humiliating for you. Actually, we didn't fall for your little trick, which is possibly the lamest trick ever. What? That was hilarious. Oh, yeah, comedy gold. How dare you mock us? Tremble in terror as we introduce ourselves. I am One Death. This is Seven Death. Oh, we know all your names. Scab Stripper, Blood Gatherer, Pus Demon, Jaundice Demon, Stabbing Demon, Skull Scepter, Bloody Teeth, Bloody Claws, Pack Strap, and Wing. Don't our names just fill you with fear? More like pity. Did your parents hate you or something? We know all your names, and we're not intimidated. Seven Death whispered into One Death's ear. They didn't fall for our dummies, and they know our names. Maybe they're too smart for us. Shut up, you fool. Earth dwellers, we welcome you to join us. Won't you have a seat? He pointed to a pair of stone chairs, but the twins were too crafty. They saw the seats were heated below by coals, and anyone who sat upon them would be burned. No thanks, we're here to put you in the hot seat. Did he just make a pun? At our expense. That's it. We've come to accept your challenge to a game of Pock to Pock. We've come to beat you at your own game. Ugh, another pun. Intolerable. The Zabalbans gnashed their skeletal teeth in anger, but One Death told them to calm themselves. Fine, a ball game it will be. Tomorrow. In the meantime, we will be kind enough to offer you lodging for the night. Of course. Lead the way. This is how the Lords of Death had defeated the twins' father, by sealing him and his brother up in one of their horrible underground temples. But the twins were ready for any challenge. The Zabalbans showed them to their lodging for the night. The House of Darkness, a temple filled to the brim with soul-crushing blackness. The death gods expected the temple to destroy the twins' minds. But the next morning, they emerged from the darkness looking perfectly rested. Ah, what a refreshing night's sleep! I rate that temple 5 out of 5 skulls. Highly recommended. How did impossible? The Zabalbans didn't know it, but the Heart of Heaven had sent fireflies to light up the House of Darkness for the twins. So, who's ready for some ball? To the court of death. Everything is death with you guys, isn't it? The Zabalbans led the twins to an enormous underground Pock-to-Pock ball court, where a stone hoop was attached to the walls, and hordes of skeletal spectators filled the arena. The Lords of Death took the court against them, and One Death held up a ball made from a human skull. Like a ball. Grisly, but effective. Let me guess, the ball of death. So began the ultimate Pock-to-Pock match. The twins played the death gods fiercely, and the Zabalbans were stunned by their skill. How are they doing so well? No matter! Activate the ball. As Hanapu went to bump the skull ball, It transformed into a razor-sharp blade. The blade ricocheted wildly off the sides of the arena, and the twins dodged to the side. But when the ball finished its deadly sweep and returned to its original form, Zabalanik knocked it through the goal. No! But Hanapu whispered to Zabalanik, let's not beat them today. We haven't humiliated them enough. The twins were poised to win the match, but they held back and let the Zabalbans win by just a hair. Ha! You've lost. In your face. In punishment, you must spend another night in one of our houses. It will be the end of you. This time, they put the twins in the house of daggers, where razor-sharp daggers attacked whoever stayed there. But the twins used their magic to survive. They enchanted the daggers so they could not stab them. They emerged the next day unharmed. How did daggers really? How dull. Care for a rematch? The next match went much the same. Once again the twins played the Zabalbans fiercely, pulling back from a victory at the last minute. Whoops, lost again. Where shall we sleep tonight? I'm sure it's going to be lovely. So began a cycle. Each night the Zabalbans put the twins up in a different horrifying temple. A house of deadly jaguars. A house of freezing cold. A house of flaming heat. But no matter what horror the death god subjected them to, the twins found a clever way to survive. And each day they played pock to pock, running the death gods ragged and losing only at the last minute. Eventually, they exhausted all the death gods' tricks and traps, not to mention their stamina. The Zabalbans could barely drag themselves to the court each day. We've got to do something. They're exhausting us. Oh, we have one final house that will solve all our problems. The next night, the Zabalbans led the twins to the final temple, the House of Bats. Ooh, bats. Scary. But they were not just any bats. They were carnivorous, man-eating bats. And once the twins were trapped with them in the darkness, they knew they had to do something to stay alive. So they used their magic to shrink down very small and hid in a blowgun Hunapu always carried with them. We outwitted them again. Are they gone yet? I'll check. But when Hunapu stuck his head outside the reed, a bat swooped low and snatched the head right off his shoulders. No! Hunapu's headless body fell lifelessly to the ground. But then, to Zabalanik's shock, the body rose and began to feel around for its missing head. Hunapu, can you hear me? Hey, up here! The bats were carrying Hunapu's head away out of the temple. What a strange place. Oh, your brother doesn't look so good. What's the matter? Lost your head? The death gods chuckled and pointed to Hunapu's head, which they had hung on the high wall of the arena. The head smiled and tried to shrug. I'm just going to watch from here, I guess. Beat him for me, Zabalanik. I guess you would be at a slight disadvantage today. Oh, I'll defeat you by myself if I have to. As Zabalanik prepared to take the ball court alone, a rabbit bounded up to him, carrying a green melon with a crude face carved upon it. Here, take this. Put it on your brother's shoulders. It'll do until we can steal the real one back for you. I got a bobcat and a mouse here with me. Oh, thank you. And sorry again for pulling off your tails. No problem. Kind of like this short look. After Zabalanik placed the melon on his brother's shoulders, the body twisted it into place. Hunapu's real head called down from the top of the arena. Not quite as handsome as the real thing, but it'll do. The game began, and the melon-headed Hanapu stumbled haphazardly around the court. The crowd roared with laughter. Meanwhile, the rabbit and his animal comrades were scaling the arena wall to rescue the real head of Hanapu. Heads up! Suddenly, one death smacked the ball hard at melon-headed Hanapu with such force that it smashed the melon, splattering fruit everywhere. Oopsie! But then the animals tossed the real head down from above. It spiraled and landed right where the melon had been. Ah, I'm back together again. Thanks. All right, let's end this once and for all. Flying into action, the hero twins went on to win the most stunning pock-to-pock victory ever. As the ball passed through the hoop for a final time, the ground above and below them began to shake. They had decisively defeated the death gods, who collapsed in exhaustion. Well, now we've beaten you fair and square. Anything. What does it take to get rid of you two? You gotta never again demand human sacrifice. And we humans can play ball as loudly as we want to, day or night. Yes, yes, fine, whatever you want. Leave us in peace. Hunapu and Sabalanik stepped over the defeated gods and departed Sabalba victorious. The humans of Earth would never again fear the death gods, and the twins had beaten them at their own game. So what did you think of these twins and they're tricking the death gods again and again, only to finally beat them at their own game? Well, listen, what's going to happen? Well, we'll find out. This is your host, Cora Dive, signing off.